welcome, greetings. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, and we are back with Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. And it's the 1st of July. And what is our theme this month? Well, it's You, Framed in Freedom. This is a glorious time of the year for all of us here in the US of A. But remember, we're global. We go everywhere. And every Wednesday, most every Wednesday, we gather here to meet and greet and share with you a lot of stuff that has to do with individuality, freedom, style, and all those other good things. Leadership, that's what we're about. I'm Joy Ruffin, your minister of enlightenment, awareness, and awakenings, plus your signature style and leadership specialist. I'm going to say it over and over again. It's July, and it's all about you framed in freedom. This is an invitation, my League of Eagles, and I label you my League of Eagles for a reason, and it's a good reason, because you are about clarity, embodying presence and leadership that's expressed through your truth. And today we're diving into your power of awareness, your superpower. What do you think that might be? When you think about superpower, I want you to stop and hesitate for just a moment, and I want you to think about, what does superpower and freedom mean to you, and how are they aligned? We're talking about something that's uplifting, not only for you, but for others. So how about leadership, equality, and this word that I happen to love, and I bet you do as well? It's called class. Not your classroom, CLASS. And that has a lot to do with what we're going to be talking about today. Everyone, as we begin this wonderful month of July, where we're celebrating big time here in the US of A, but we go everywhere. It's a celebratory month. So I'm inviting you to think about freedom in a much different way. Freedom is not simply something we celebrate on a calendar. It is something we carry within ourselves. It is a confidence to know who we are and the courage to stand for what is right and the wisdom to remain true to our values, no matter what is happening around us. Oh, I didn't say it would be easy. It's very difficult for many people, especially the visionaries, the trailblazers, the kindred spirits who know that there's more. That kind of freedom has always belonged to you, and it is not given by others, and it cannot be taken from you by any critic. No one's opinion or changing circumstances can take that from you. Every generation is presented with opportunities to grow, lead, and leave something meaningful behind. And that's what we call legacy. And that belongs to each and every one of us. And today is no different from times long past. Legacy is an old-fashioned, kind of forgotten word, but you hear it everywhere now, because most people who care, hello there, Sonia, good to see you, they want to leave some type of legacy. They want to leave a legacy that has a meaning and an impact and a purpose and something that ignites something in others. We are living in a time when leadership is being redefined. It is no longer measured by who speaks the loudest or who gathers the most attention. When it comes to all of the social media platforms, that's all you see. People are preening and prancing and pruning all over the screen, begging for attention. That's not leadership. Real leadership is measured by your character. It is revealed through your consistency, integrity, and the ability to remain grounded, even when life becomes uncertain and throws you lots of curves. And you know, and I know, and most all of us know that there's a lot of that in the stratosphere right here and now. It is not the easiest and the best of times. It's a time of a lot of uncertainty, and for many people, fear. So when you understand your worth, your presence begins to change every time you enter any space that you're in, because you're no longer seeking and asking for permission to belong, because you already know that you do. And you do that with honor, humility, and hopefully a bit of humor about that, because you know that we're all one, even though we're vastly different. And there's no reason to feel or to think that you're better than anyone else. That's where the danger comes in. You carry yourself differently. Your words become more thoughtful. You string them together and you arrange them where they have more of an impact. Your decisions become more intentional. I love that word intentional, and I think it's one that most of us have to begin to really embody. Your confidence is no longer depending upon applause because your confidence is rooted in your self-awareness, your self-knowing, and your high self-esteem because you've worked at it. Leadership, dignity, and class work together beautifully. And it's almost like you can't have one without the other. And they remind us, those three aligned together, that greatness is not an act we perform for others. Oh no. Greatness is a daily decision to become more honorable, more compassionate, and more authentic about who you are. When we choose that path, we become the examples for others without ever needing to become anything other than who and what we are, without ever needing to announce it either. So as we celebrate this season together, especially this month, let us remember that our greatest freedom is becoming the very best version of ourselves. How many times have we heard, oh my goodness, and how many times have I said, know thyself? That's what we're all here to learn to do here on Earth School. So many people are parading and prancing out and about, teaching and attempting to share knowledge and wisdom with others that they have not embodied within themselves. And that is why lasting influence about who you are and where you stand becomes really important. Standing firm when the world pushes you back, and believe me, trust that it will, but your wholeness and knowing and the freedom of you will be able to stand that with the strength that is within you. Every person who chooses to live with purpose will eventually face criticism. It's simply part of the journey, part of the life cycle. Some people will misunderstand your intentions. Others may question your direction simply because they cannot yet see your vision. They don't yet know who they are. They're searching, they're seeking. And most of us in the beginning stages, and we've all been there, the challenge, we can't avoid criticism. The challenge for us is refusing to allow that criticism to redefine who we are. Standing firm does not require anger. Anger serves no purpose. It does not require proving anyone wrong. It simply requires knowing what you believe and refusing to compromise your values. There's tremendous strength in calm confidence, because with that calm confidence comes a certain amount of class that you can't define. It really has no words. There's remarkable power in speaking with grace instead of reacting with frustration. Your standards are not obstacles, they are boundaries that protect your purpose. The truth you bring into your work, that you bring to your table, your family, your friends, club, group, community, your friendships, deserves to remain steady. The more clearly you understand your values, the easier it becomes to make wise decisions. People often mistake kindness for weakness. They mistake elegance for silence with no words. Yet history continues to remind us that some of the strongest leaders carried themselves with remarkable dignity. Don't you love that word, dignity? They listened carefully as much as they spoke. And when they spoke thoughtfully, and they acted with conviction. Think of the famous, legendary, iconic people that you know, that you look up to, and all of them will not be in the history books, that you admire and that you have deep admiration and respect for. Think of them by name, and that's who you probably unconsciously are modeling yourself after them, because they allowed their lives to speak louder than their opinions, their actions. Never underestimate the influence of quiet confidence. It often reaches places that loud voices never can. The goal is not to impress people. The goal is to leave every conversation, every opportunity, and every relationship better than when you found it. So we're going to talk about the true meaning of class. But before we do that, let me take a quick little reset. Great to see you guys here. It's always good when you show up. Now, let's take a quick little reset and let me introduce you to a group that I have renamed. I've renamed it for a reason. It's not here yet, but it's coming. Leading Ladies and Lords Leaving Legacies. And I'll tell you a little bit later why I added Lords in there. We no longer have the group that I had on Mondays, because I had that and put that together because Leading Ladies were for women only. But then I gave it some thought and I had a dream. You know, I'm always dreaming. I hope you are. That men need to be invited in here every now and then. So every now and then we'll have a surprise guest, and he will be a gent, a lord. And we'll be talking a lot more about that as we go forward. But if you're not a member of this group, your vision, mission, and purpose, it needs to be here. It needs to be here because no one stands alone and needs to be alone. And whatever you're about, it needs to be shared with others so that they can partake of all the vision, the wisdom, and the purpose that you're about and be a part of your community and your group, your club, your tribe, so to speak. And then we now have a YouTube channel. It's Joy Ruffin, Fashioning Femininity, Style, and Truth. I love those words, style and truth, and femininity, which we'll be talking about quite a bit any and everywhere we go and whatever we do, because that's what the awakening is all about. Truth, love, beauty, and femininity, style and truth. Every Thursday on YouTube. Every Thursday, you'll find all different types of topics that we discuss there. And remember, you belong there. And when you go there, subscribe. Leave your likes and your comments and share that with others. And then I'd like to also remind you that the workshop that we had, the Style Rebirth Package, is still available for you. And I'm leaving it for you at a reasonable and phenomenal discount because you're added in. I've added in for you some additional bonuses. So it's well worth your investment. So make sure you take a screenshot or a snapshot and take a link of that. Now let's talk about what we talk about and what we mean when we mention that word that sometimes frightens the bejesus out of people. I don't know why, but it does. Character never goes out of style. Never, ever. And that word class is often misunderstood. Many people immediately think of clothing, titles, wealth, or social position. While those things might attract attention and might be a part of what that is, they're not what define the word class. True class begins within, and it is revealed through our actions long before it is reflected in our appearance. All of the high-end designer, haute couture, and all of those things that we can buy will not give us the elegance, character, and all that other stuff that we're looking for if we don't go within to discover and know who we are, so that what shows from and feels from the inside shows up on the outside. A woman of class respects herself enough always to respect others from every genre. She understands that kindness and strength can exist together. And so many people, as they climb the ladder to success, they forget that. You can't forget that because that takes away all of your glory, ultimately. This lady knows that confidence does not require comparisons. She is not about comparing and competing with anyone. She celebrates excellence without becoming consumed by competition. Just remember that. Class also appears in the way we communicate. Our words have tremendous influence. They can encourage, they can heal, teach, inspire, and often ignite something that's just waiting to birth within someone else. And they can also discourage and divide. And that's what you don't want to do. And if you're doing something that's up against the grain, so to speak, you want to do it with gentle awareness so that people can embrace it, because most of us find it very difficult to take in what sometimes we know we need to hear, but we're just not ready. Every conversation gives us an opportunity to choose which kind of influence we have. Character becomes your greatest accessory because it never fades with time. So I want you to have some food for thought. You know, that's one of my favorite expressions. Food for thought. What is ethics, logic, character, honor, integrity, your moral compass? What does that mean to you? And what is truth, love, and beauty to you? How does that evolve for you? You know, we have been so traumatized, really, the majority of us, and some of us can't even acknowledge it. I couldn't for a long, long time, by the industry that I love and adore, two of them, the fashion and the entertainment industry in all of its different realms, because there's that idealized sense of beauty there. And most, for a while, until you begin to get your wings, you attempt to embrace and embody that beauty. That's not us, no matter who us might be. And us is different for every race, every ethnic group. Beauty evolves within your range. Fashion changes. It needs to change with you, contingent upon you, your lifestyle, and all the other elements that go with that. Trends come and go. Beauty never fades. Not traditional, conventional beauty that's innately you. People will forget what you wore. They will forget even sometimes what you said. Who said that many, many moons ago? But they will rarely forget how you made them feel. That's such a popular quote from Maya Angelou, because that's where class shows up and will continue to reflect your inner discipline, emotional maturity, wisdom, and respect. Because when you treat others as you want to be treated, and your kindness and your genuineness comes through, very few people ultimately can deny you that. And these qualities, my eagles, will never become outdated. Even though we're in this phenomenal time of change, with technology just taking over most everything, and most times, depending on how you look at it, in some great ways, but you are the master of your fate. And so what you are here to remember is that everything that you do is a reflection of your inner knowing of who you are. Every generation continues to elevate themselves, their homes, their businesses, communities, their nations. And it's all about uplifting others as you rise, because you cannot do anything alone. You need a team of people around you, no matter how great your gifts might be. I think that sometimes people who are in leadership forget that. And it's like, no one's going to do it the way that I can do it. No one can do it as well as I can do it. Well, that might be true. But if you're treating everyone around you in that fashion, then nothing's ever going to get done that's lasting. Leadership is never a solo journey. It's been proven over and over again, and you don't have to read all the history books to discover that. One of the greatest lessons in leadership is understanding that success was never meant to be experienced alone. Every meaningful achievement has been shaped by people who encouraged us, believed in us, and challenged us, and opened doors along the way for us. Many people that you might not even remember or know their names. And this is in every ethnic group, regardless to where you come from, what nation or tribe or group or community or family you belong to. So as we continue to grow, I want you, me, all of us to start asking ourselves, what does freedom mean to you? How are you sharing the freedom that you have from within you with others to help them to grow? And as you continue to grow, do you feel the responsibility to reach back and support others in their growth? Are you a mentor, a teacher, a trainer, a guide, a wayshower? Well, in a way, my eagles, aren't they all one and the same? You encourage others to grow. We share what we have learned, whatever that is. And oftentimes, contingent upon what it is, sometimes people aren't ready to receive it. We become premier prime examples for others who can follow us with confidence. When women support one another, remarkable things begin to happen. It's time to really evolve and grow together. My labeling myself the minister of enlightenment, awareness, and awakening was because my own awakening was beginning to surface. And it's time for us as women, men too. I work predominantly with women, but men have the same plight, lane to travel on, to fly on into. Where are you supporting others to grow, find their purpose, discover who they are at their core, heart and soul connected, and supporting them to grow in every way? Have you noted that as confidence grows, everything about that person begins to grow and evolve? And I want to give you another food for thought, some seeds to think about. Their creativity expands, but what also expands with it? No matter what level they're at, economically and all the other levels. However, their style of dress, first impressions still matter. Well, they still do, maybe quite different, but they do. They began to evolve. They began to dress differently. They began to upgrade and elevate because they began to move in different circles. And those circles are still there. It doesn't mean that that circle is better than where you started down here. Yet, as you evolve, you begin to see that there's certain elements and parts of you that need to evolve with you. And that's how you adorn and dress your vessel, the body. I call it your temple. That's where your creativity really begins to expand because you know that how you adorn your body showcases the wisdom, the love, and the strength of you. Family units become stronger. Communities become healthier. Future generations discover new possibilities because someone believed in them before they believed in themselves. Leadership is not about collecting followers, but I think we find that very much on the social media platforms. How many followers do you have? How many are in your group? How many likes and comments and so on and so forth? Yes, they're important. We all need them. Can't deny that, but it's also about developing future leaders. That's legacy. This is where true legacy begins. Every conversation becomes an opportunity to plant hope. Who said, I'm not going to tell you because I know you know, who said, let's keep hope alive? Well, hope is a beginning seed, isn't it? Every act of encouragement becomes an investment in someone else's future. None of us arrive here entirely on our own. Someone opened a door for us. Someone offered us wisdom. Someone and several someones ignited something in us that brought us to the table to share our love, knowing, and wisdom with others. Someone spoke life into us. It ignited our purpose and now becomes our privilege. And it ought to be a privilege. And if it's not a privilege, we ought not to be doing it, to do the same for others. Did I say that others are going to welcome you with open arms and embrace you totally, especially if it's not something that's going to give them tons of dollars initially? Well, that's a question mark, isn't it? But that is really how equality continues to grow from one person, one opportunity, and one generous act at a time. Your legacy and how you began it begins today. It began when you popped out of the womb. But this journey of life, this earth school that we're on, it takes time to gather together balance, harmony, unity. That's my mantra, tagline that I use everywhere because it embodies any, every, and all things, no matter what you're doing. Finding the balance within yourself and the harmony and your unity of the two and uniting that with others. So I want you to be thinking today about this simple reminder. You, and I'm not attempting in any way to put you on a pedestal. I don't believe in putting anybody on a pedestal. Pedestals are dangerous for everyone. You already possess everything necessary to begin living with greater purpose, greater dignity, and greater confidence that offers and showcases class without having to say a word. This journey does not begin today. It began a long time ago, no matter what stage of life, what season of life you're in. So I'm asking you today to choose leadership over popularity. Oh, it's a biggie. It's a big ask, but I'm asking. Choose character over convenience and choose truth over fear. Continue to develop your voice while protecting your peace, pursuing excellence while remaining humble enough to keep learning. Oh, let me repeat that again. Continue pursuing excellence while remaining humble enough to keep learning. We can't ever close off the ability to learn, to stay open. It's not about perfection. It's about keep learning to excel at whatever your purpose and gift was. Continue to build bridges where others build walls. Your elegance is not weakness. It is strength guided by wisdom. And your character is not ordinary. It is your greatest protection. Your legacy is not something waiting in the wings in the future. It is being written by you now, every single day through your choices, your relationships, and your examples. So as we move through this beautiful month of July 2026 together, let us celebrate by living freely in truth, love, beauty. This is another word that I love, and I want you to get to know it, love it, and embody it in the best way. Equality, leadership, and the class that brings to your embodied temple. Let us become people who leave every place brighter than we found it. Let us encourage one another to rise with dignity, to lead with compassion, and to create opportunities for those coming behind us. That's what every generation needs to do. Every season of life, you're to do that. And remember, how we rise matters. The world needs more people who lead with integrity, serve with humility, and how about adding a little bit of humor in there, and lead with genuine class. May we continue to build this future together. And that future requires balance, harmony, and unity. One for all and all for one. How often have you heard me say that? I love saying that because how many times have you heard me say, many, many moons ago, I read The Three Musketeers, and boy, did that stick with me. The Three Musketeers, one for all and all for one. That's what it needs to be. There's no getting around that. So I'm asking you once again, thank you for sharing this space with me today. You need to hear each and every time I come to you how I honor your presence and your commitment to growth. We've been away for a while. We'll be back this entire month, and then we're away again. There's so much transition going on in my life, but you just keep rising. I honor your presence. So when we let go of the old conditioning, the programming, and the sexualizing, and this is what I'm really about, we began to create space for the new leadership that's coming our way, especially when it comes to divine femininity and leadership from women and men. Join me next week. Every week we come to you. I'd like for you to make sure that you get to my YouTube channel, Joy Ruffin Fashioning Femininity, Style, and Truth. Leave your comments, your likes, subscribe, share, and plus also don't forget my newsletter, my monthly newsletter. Everything there is for you to take in and to grow into who you are here to be. And remember also that each and every Wednesday when we come to you, that I'm going to be bringing you I'm going to keep this package alive and well for you to consider because it's a great bonus and I have put in additional things for you there. And then I'm also going to ask you to join us on all the different social media platforms that we're on. If you're not familiar with them, follow us on all of these different platforms. Our theme this month, it's all about you, framed in freedom. I hope that I left you with a lot of food for thought. You know, that's one of my favorite expressions. So my Eagles, next week I have phenomenal, fantastic featured guest speakers for you every week. But next week, you must come and join us because this lady is going to blow you away with all the wisdom and the love that she's going to share with you. Be and stay well. I'm sending you much, much love from my heart to yours, and all the best always. Cheers.